it's a well thought out process. So I think one other thing that is usually very important is recommendation letters. I mean, a graduate school, recommendation letters are one of the key criteria, or the key elements. What decisions or what thought process went into selecting your recommenders? What qualities or experiences were you looking for in the selection of your recommenders?
Yeah. So the first one was like, how well do they know me? Can they vouch for me?
Mm-hmm.
That was the most important question. After that, I selected people that can shine light on my different sides or on my different experiences. So I had a professional recommender, someone who knew me professionally. I had a recommender that knew me academically from my medical school. I had someone who knew me in my research work, or I had my research advisor from medical school. So
Okay.
that was an inside. And then I had someone who knew me from my volunteer work. I volunteered in Global Shapers. I'm a Global Shaper, so I made sure I had someone who could talk about my volunteer work. I also had someone, a mentor, also write a recommendation for me. So what I decided is that just different people can have worked with me in different areas and can show my different sides and my different qualities. So that's how I chose them.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So another important thing is statement of purpose. And I mean, for those who don't know how to, I've met a couple of people who really don't know even where to start or how to start or how to really make it make sense to the admissions committee. Can you, for example, walk us through, your process of writing, your personal statement? How did you approach it? What key aspects did you focus on? Because you seem to have a very broad, perspective or experiences. How did you decide this particular element is important and has to be on my personal statement?
Yeah. When you start the application process, statement of purpose can be very daunting. I've also, like, you have a YouTube channel, so because of that, I interact with a lot of potential applicants, and some of them, as you say, they don't know where to start. And I also felt like that. Well, I applied to U.S. schools when I was in 12th grade, so it was not as daunting as when I applied for undergrad, but still, it was, I didn't know where to start. So that was, I understand what you're asking. So for me, what I do first is I read the question well. So not almost all schools have similar themed questions, but I try to really understand what do they want to know about me, or like, what is this question asking me. So the first thing is to really understand the question. After that, I try to reflect, what experiences do I have? Like, what are my skills? What are my experiences? How do I want to talk about them? Like, which story would be good for this statement of purpose? So I think first of all, you need to reflect, just sit down and just think before writing. So that's what I did. After that, I just like dump all my ideas into either you can use a paper, or I usually work well on the computer, so I just open a Word document and write everything. I don't stress about spelling or grammar. It's just about putting my ideas. It can even be like an outline, like a bullet points. So I'll just put all my ideas in there. So after doing that, I try to see the central theme, or like the story that I can make out of that. Then I change it into a story. I think it's very important to tell a story with your statement of purpose. The admission committee is not trying to, reread your resume or your SOFA's application again. They're trying to really understand who are you, what stories do you bring, what unique qualities do you bring to our program. So I try to select that. So I picked the real stories that really made me go into public health or made me select that school. So I then used a format of just like a good flow of storytelling, starting from like medical school journey, going into went into nonprofit work, how I worked with different organizations, and how that all related and came to make me decide public health is the next step for me. So I think it's showing like how like all your experiences and background kind of come together to make that decision. So after talking about that, then I also reflect, why the school really, like what's best. about the school. So I read well about their websites. I talk with students who are already enrolled or who graduated. Then I really understand, okay, this school is best at this school. This is why I want to go
Yeah.
to your school. And then at last I will close it with, what do I want to gain after graduation, or what do I want to do with this degree?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not spending this much money and energy to just gain a degree and just sit down with it, right? You need to do something with it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I also genuinely, right, like I this is the career path I'm aspiring to go into, so this is where it fits. It's a stepping stone towards this. So that's how I wrote it, and that's my process.
Okay. Yeah. I think it was a well thought out process, very detailed, and speaking to current students or past students is also equally important. Getting people to review your statement, it's critical. And as you said, having an initial draft of everything, right? So all the essential elements in your journey, you want to make sure it's highlighted. And you're not like literally copying and pasting your CV, but you're using it to tell a story that truly makes sense. Okay, but so